years at Hastings area schools. And as we honor Tammy, we reflect on her distinguished career during which she has made an extraordinary impact on her students and our school community. Tammy's journey as an educator has been nothing short of inspiring. Her instructional practices and her high expectations have consistently resulted in remarkable student growth. And she has supported numerous students in exiting the special education program just at Star School alone in the past 4 years, which is a testament to her unwavering commitment and to their success. Tammy was born in Muskegon, graduated from Fruitport High School in 1987, and attended Western Michigan University for her undergrad. She started her career as a student teacher in 1999 with Mike Abbott here in Hastings in a self-contained classroom. She graduated from Western with a degree in early childhood, elementary education, and with an emotional impairment emphasis. She subbed throughout Hastings while she went to school, and after graduation, she was hired right in August as a resource room teacher at the Hastings Middle School. While teaching at the middle school, she had both pull-out and inclusion classes where she taught mainly reading and math, but she also had some pull-out science and social studies classes at times as well. Most of her career was spent as a special education teacher at the middle school level, where she dedicated herself to nurturing and guiding her students with exceptional care and expertise. However, in 2004, she was asked to teach in a general education second grade classroom at Southeastern Elementary, and then she went back to the middle school a year later. While the middle school was being rebuilt in 2019, she taught ninth grade ELA inclusion class, or an ELA inclusion class at the high school. And then when Star School had our special education teacher leave right before the school year started in 2020, Tammy was involuntary transferred to our building, and she came kicking and screaming. However, she soon learned that we were much different than what everyone had told her, and Star School has been incredibly fortunate to have Tammy join us for her final 4 years of her career. Despite the relative short time, Tammy has found her forever family with us, and we have been blessed to have her a part of our team. From the moment Tammy joined Star School, she wiggled her way right into our hearts and fit right in. She formed a close bond with her soul sister, Tammy Nemitz, and together they became known as Tammy 1 and Tammy 2. Their camaraderie shared resilience on Matt Kingshot for tech support, both of them, and his brawn for handling tough students. And together they've been a delightful addition to our school culture. Tammy is known for being the first person to voice what everybody else is thinking. She has a knack for saying, "I'm not doing that," yet somehow she would always end up doing it. And she was never afraid to address the issues as they arose. And her authenticity and willingness to tackle challenges head-on have been a source of strength and inspiration for all of us. In our school lounge, Tammy's favorite spot during her lunchtime is the recliner, a place that these coworkers know not to take. And when she's not there, you can often find her on the floor with Pluto, our facility dog, sharing a moment together. And she's even been known to sit in his crate because they're so close. Upon retirement, Tammy plans to hunt and travel, and she hopes to get her motorhome to travel all over the country with her husband. I don't know if he knows that yet, but that's what she told me. And Logan, she even joked about pulling out Life 360 or Find My Family or something like that to follow you wherever you go, so just beware. Tammy's favorite memories of her teaching career all center around her watching her students grow. She prides herself on being the nicest, meanest teacher there is, ensuring that she gets the best performance out of her students. But she did say that the things that she'll miss the most are her coworkers and her lunchtime discussions. Tammy, your presence has been a gift to Star School. Your passion for teaching, your genuine care for your students, your vibrant personality have all left an indelible mark on all of us. As you embark on this new chapter of your life, we want you to know how deeply you'll be missed. Your legacy will continue to inspire us, and your influence will be felt for years to come. Thank you, Tammy, for your dedication, your hard work, the countless lives you've touched, and we wish you all the happiness and fulfillment on your retirement. Enjoy every moment. Congratulations. And next we have Tammy Nemitz. Tammy 1, come on up. We are here to celebrate another incredible career and retirement of a truly outstanding educator, wife, mother, and my very dear, dear friend, Tammy Nemitz. She is here tonight with her husband, John, and her daughters wish her well from Boulder, Colorado, and Traverse City. Tammy was born and raised in Grand Ledge, Michigan, where she graduated from high school in 1980. She didn't want me to tell you that, but I had to throw that in there. She went to Michigan State and graduated in 1985 with a bachelor's in dietetics, and then went back to graduate with a master's in health education and human performances in 1988. And then she began working at Pennock Health and Wellness Center in 1990 and moved to Hastings shortly after that. And you're trying to ask me now, like, how did she get here? Well, she went back to school. She went back to Olivet College for her teaching degree and completed her student teaching with Tanya Haney at Northeastern Elementary in 1998. Then, in 2000, she took a long-term substitute position for Cindy Wilcox in 4th grade at Star and was my teaching partner for part of the year until we both left on maternity leave during spring break. Then, in 2001, Tammy was hired for 1st grade at Star, where we had a bubble group and 3 classrooms at that 1 grade level. And then she looped up to 2nd grade with the same group and then followed them to 3rd as well. In 2004, she was needed at Central Elementary for a kindergarten classroom, and she spent a year there. And then Tammy was moved back to Star School in 2005, the day before school started, for our 4th and 5th grade looping position, where she has stayed ever since. Tammy's favorite thing about teaching has been the relationship she's built with her students and with staff. And when I asked her about this question, she stated, "We grew up together, and our kids grew up together too." Her plans for the future include moving to Elk Rapids in the next couple of weeks. They've sold their house, and they are moving to their forever home right up on Traverse Bay. And she's looking forward to long walks on the beach with her dogs and watching sunsets. And husband too, she said. Tammy, your passion for teaching has always been evident with everything you do. Your dedication to ensuring that your students have a deep understanding of what they are learning has been inspiring and admirable as I've watched you teach over the years. You have spent countless hours working with children before, during, and after school, showing each student that you truly care about their learning and their success. It's no wonder that you are one of my daughter's favorite teachers and a favorite to many seniors as they've ended their career at Hastings area schools. We've been so fortunate to have you as a valuable member of our Star School family for many years. Your leadership on the building leadership team has been greatly appreciated, and your willingness to help out wherever needed has made a significant impact. Whether it's assisting with after-school functions, March's Reading Month activities, or collaborating on lessons, you've always been there, sharing your knowledge and working closely with your colleagues. Your commitment to providing learning opportunities extended far beyond the classroom. For many years, you ran Battle of the Books. Remember that? For 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, fostering a love of reading and teamwork. And our team won the Super Battle of the Books for the last 3 years. The program was even active. Your role as co-chair for our student council has also brought countless events and activities to life, enriching the entire school community. You've always been a good sport, too, when it comes to elementary shenanigans, from running with the girls group, why you do that I have no idea, getting in the dunk tank for our fall fundraiser, dressing up as the YMCA dancers with the big headdress, remember that? Wearing wigs, playing Gaga Ball with Cindy Wilcox, playing tug of war with your students, eating donuts on a string, playing one of the monkeys in the Five Little Monkeys, jumping on the bed. Your enthusiasm and sense of fun has made you a favorite among students and staff alike. When Tammy Garbrecht joined us, you quickly became known as Tammy 1 and Tammy 2, and together you both brought a wonderful dynamic to our school. And it's only fitting that the two of you are retiring together this year. We should have been calling you Trouble 1 and Trouble 2, but the Tammy twins have been a source of joy and laughter, and your partnership has added a special touch to our community. As you retire this year, your expertise, your experience, and you will be deeply missed. You have made an indelible mark on Star School, and your legacy of dedication, passion, and fun will continue to inspire us all. Thank you, Tammy, for all that you've done for your students, your colleagues, for me, and your entire school community. We wish you the best in your retirement. Enjoy every moment.
Next, I would like to honor Kim Domke. Kim is retiring after 37 years in various roles at Hastings. Most recently, she was at Southeastern Elementary. Her presence is still being felt at Southeastern with the shelves full of books and materials, although it's been a few years since she's been there. Currently, she's the asparagus and honey lady. When she drops it off, more people follow her to the parking lot to get more. Kim moved to Hastings in 1987 and worked full-time for 8 years in Hastings and Grand Ledge. Became a mom and worked part-time, still in educational roles as homebound teacher, substitute teacher, music and swim teacher, and tutoring. Kim then got back into full-time work and taught 5 years at Berry County Christian School, and then 5 years as an IA at Southeastern, along with 2 years of summer school. Interesting fact, she has taught swimming almost every Saturday during the year since the pool opened in 2003. She's currently my own kid's swim instructor, and we appreciate her dearly. It is also happy to report that Mileage Club is back in full swing at Southeastern. When asked about her time at Hastings, Kim stated, "Teaching has been a flexible career that allowed her family first. She is thankful for Hastings area schools and her home base and the reason she moved to Hastings. Besides, it's where she met her husband, Ed Domke, also a longtime instructor for Hastings area schools. They have 1 son together and 2 grandkids. Her latest is 1 week old today. Her heart is willing to still teach full-time, but grandchildren and elderly parents are now requiring more of her time. Congratulations on your retirement, Kim."
Good evening, everyone. First person I'd like to recognize tonight is Beth Rouse. Could you come up here, please, Beth? I know Beth likes this type of recognition almost as much as I do, so I won't keep you real long, but she truly deserves it. She has been here over 26 years. She's very dedicated to her family. I know her daughter Christy and son-in-law Jeff are here tonight. Anyone else that we have tonight? I can remember not too long ago we had our little granddaughter coming into the office after school and visiting with us, and that was always a pleasure. And recently Beth told me how old she'd gotten. I said, oh my goodness, time does fly, doesn't it? Turned 16, and it's hard to believe. She was just this little girl, came in there coloring with us, and she was a real treasure. But really, Beth has a much larger family. It's this Hastings area school system. She has been our one-person human resource department for over 26 and a half years, 26.25, 4 years. So she has helped hire most of us in. I see this list. Obviously, there's a few of you that have been here before that, but she has helped hire most of us in, helped us with all of our benefits, health insurance, and when we were getting ready to retire, if you had questions, she was always there to help work you through it, and that has been a tremendous, tremendous benefit for us. She knows these contracts backwards and forwards. She lets us know when we have misinterpretations of those contracts and straightens us out on those, which we need. And like I said, she's taking care of all of us like a family. She doesn't always agree with all the actions of the family, which we've all been through that as well, but she has done tremendous things for this school district, and she will be a great loss for us. Like I say, she's helped me with getting things ready for budget, getting things ready for negotiations. I just don't know where I would have been without her. So she's been a huge benefit to me, a huge benefit to this district, and she will be truly missed. Thank you very much, Beth.
I'm going to miss your nerdiness.
So the next person I want to talk about a little bit can't be with us tonight due to some health issues, but it's someone I've shared an office with for 11 years. Not sure I can make it through this, but he was a great coworker, a great boss, but more than that, a great friend. And it's been quite a story. When I was first hired here 12 years ago, Mr. Gearlings, we had a half-time curriculum director by the name of Bill Trujillo. I'm not sure he was here half the time. I'm not sure how much he knew about curriculum, but he did know a lot about wrestling, so we heard a lot of wrestling stories. So after that first year, I think Bill figured out he wasn't quite knew what he was doing, and we decided we might want to get a real curriculum director in here. So that's when we went out and got Mr. Goebel, and he was a wealth of knowledge. He came with principal experience. He came with a lot of special ed experience. He had done coaching, and he was just a pleasure to work with, very knowledgeable, and he would always take the time to talk to people. And again, if you weren't doing what you're supposed to be, he would let you know that too. But he was always there to help us and counsel us, and he will truly be missed here at Hastings too. He was also very, very, very dedicated to his family, and I know that's where his time will be moving forward, and I just wish him all the best in everything, and that's my friend Matt Goebel. Thank you. I think we're done now, Luke, right?
So Mr. Berlin can't sit down quite yet, but he will be our last honoree tonight. Mr. Moore has food service, but they are not presenting this evening. I did not have the pleasure of doing a questionnaire for Mr. Berlin, so I kind of came up with some of this on my own with some help from Val. So it's a great pleasure that I have tonight the opportunity to introduce Mr. Tim Berlin. He has been the rock that our district needed to establish financial stability. He came in about 12 years ago, and our district was in some serious financial trouble with deficit spending over $500,000. Mr. Berlin, with his hard work and with the cooperation of everyone here at the district, were able to turn things around. And now our district is proudly financially stable, and we are nearing our 15% fund balance goal. Prior to coming to Hastings, Tim served as a CFO for Millington and Cass City Public Schools, and then went on to serve as a superintendent for Millington Community Schools, where he actually graduated just a few years ago. Prior to his work in public education, he was a controller for the Flint Journal. And those are the only employment history stories that I have. I'm sure there were several others. As Tim enters retirement, we may still call him from time to time for his wisdom and advice. But we hope he gets the time to do the things that he loves and enjoys, like watching his granddaughter's softball games. We are sad to see him go, and he will truly be missed, but we wish you the best for retirement and enjoy being able to call him in as a consultant. So, congratulations, Mr. Berlin.
Thanks, Mike.
So we have a total of 328 and a half years of service for these folks that have dedicated their lives to our students and our district. So I would like to ask for one more round of applause and congratulate you on a job well done. For all the retirees, there is a booklet out in the lobby, and you have a plant outside the entrance of the high school. So please feel free to grab those. As we do with the kids for their educational presentation, you are welcome to leave if you would like to before we start our board meeting. And we apologize for those that came for the board meeting running a little late, but very special night to have these folks with us to celebrate the accomplishments. So we will begin our regular board meeting here in just a few minutes. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Hastings Area School Board of Education regular monthly meeting. This is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business, and it's not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation as indicated in the agenda as number 4 and number 9. Roll call, please.
Waringa?
Here.
Peck?
Here.
Tolles?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Eastman here. Slaughter?
Here.
Haywood?
Here. Thank you. And if you'd please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Waringa?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Tolles?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Slaughter?
Aye.
Haywood?
Aye. Motion is adopted. Thank you. Okay, our first public comment this evening. Thank you. We would ask Greg Randall, please, approach the microphone there in the middle, and the public comments will be addressed to the board. Please state your name, residential address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Thank you.
Great, thank you. My name is Greg Randall, and I live at 1836 South Broadway Road. And I want to thank the board for your time, and also thank you for the way that you serve our community and our schools. I know when you were elected to that position, you picked up the mantle of leadership, and you also said yes to a lot of long hours and heavy lifting and being misunderstood and all that goes with it. So thank you for your leadership. Personally, my family has benefited from what you do. I have 3 kids that have benefited from our school system. One has graduated, 2 are still currently members. I know it's your desire to make every aspect of our school system great. A school system where people would want to flock to it instead of walk away from it. So thank you for those efforts. My son, when he was part of our school system, he benefited from our swim co-op. Recently, we've had a change in our swim co-op. I don't need to explain it to you. I know you know that. It's been a seismic shift with TK no longer being a part of that. In the 4 years that my son was involved in that program, I was able to be actively participating with it. I feel like chlorine was kind of oozing from our pores at times because we're so closely connected. It was a wonderful program, and having the partnership with TK was a big part of that. I had the privilege of being an assistant coach for 1 year during that time, so I know the program well. I want to point out 2 things that are concerns of mine. One is when you hear comments from people like myself whose kids have been in the program, they will be completely one-sided. I don't need to explain that to you. You probably have heard that. One-sided in the way of saying that this co-op, breaking it apart, was not a good idea. It had such a benefit, and it's been a real negative. I don't ask you to feel the same way I do about that program, because if you haven't had a kid in it, you haven't been close to it, I don't ask you to feel that burden, but I do ask you to feel the burden of representing those that you serve, that elected you to serve. So please, when you see everybody who is close to the program on one side of this issue, don't let the weight of that pass you by. You are elected to be our voice, and we thank you for that. Please do not be silent. The second thing I want to point out is our swim program was, this decision was not based on what is best for the program. It was based out of the inability to resolve conflict. Conflict occurred. Neither administration or TK or Hastings welcomed it, but it occurred. And we did not resolve that conflict. As a result, both schools' programs were harmed. If students in our Hastings district had conflicts with each other, what would we tell them? We'd say, fix it. They'd say, we tried. Try again. They'd say, it's hard. We'd say, we understand that. But please work through it. Find a way. That's what we would expect of our students, to resolve conflict that way. We expect no less of our administration, to work through problems, to find a way. Even when decisions are made, it's never too late. Course correcting in leadership is one of the most, it endears trust to the people that follow. So it's never too late, and I would ask you not to give up the option of pursuing this. If you're looking for people to help mend fences and champion those cause, you would not have to look far. Myself and others would be willing to participate in that. But thank you again for your time. Yeah.
Okay, next we have Jason Teets, please.
Hi, my name is Jason Teets. I reside at 3379 Ryan Road, Hastings. I'm also here to speak about the swim co-op. I can't speak off the cuff as eloquently as Dr. Randall did, so I'm not going to try. I'm going to read mine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here before you to discuss the former MTK Hastings and Delton Swim Co-op. It's now 1 year after MTK was officially eliminated from the co-op, and I feel that some reflection is in order. It is evident that all the negatives your constituents brought to your attention last year have come to pass. I believe you supported what you were told was in the best interest of Hastings students. I also believe you were purposely led astray. I believe that dissuaded you from exercising your obligation to oversight, and in doing so, I believe you made a mistake. Dissolving the co-op was not in the best interest of any of the school districts involved, nor in the best interest of any of their student athletes, past, present, or future. It served only to expand the divide between districts that should be supporting each other. It caused greater physical harm to all involved, and it took opportunities away from athletes who have worked half their lives towards their goals. It's too late now for my son. The path of his high school swim career is decided, but I'm still before you because right is right, no matter what my personal involvement is. I'm here, hopefully, for the future. I'm grateful and excited that you have new incoming administrators, both of whom have very positive history in the Berry County community school systems. I hope they feel as I do that our community doesn't stop at school district boundaries, but continues to all the folks in Berry County, because our rural nature is a blessing when we embrace it. Ladies and gentlemen, what is in the best interest of all Berry County students, student athletes, and their respective school districts is a community-based swim co-op that allows all those involved to participate without anyone enduring undue hardship, that speaks of unity and competition, that is mutually beneficial, and that gives our student athletes a strong platform to compete with those larger, better funded suburban districts around us. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. If we could have Steve Schultz, please.
Steve Schultz, 104 West Calgary in Hastings. I'm going to read off my notes, that way I don't ramble on. So really quickly, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I was here a little more than a year ago to talk about Hastings' administration's decision to dissolve the longstanding co-op between TK, DK, and Hastings, and just remain DK and Hastings. I'd like to update the board really quickly on how things went the past year, and with no criticism to the athletes or the coaches, both teams really struggled. The girls' team had a fairly nice, about 13 to 15 athletes at any time, but just as an example for the conference meet, the combined team was unable to qualify any swimmers for the finals. So for our conferences, Friday is qualifying, Saturday is finals. Not one swimmer was able to qualify as an individual for the Saturday finals. The relays, several teams had qualified, although they were given they were basically given their qualifying spot. For the boys' conference meet, our team was able to make the finals in a number of races, but unable to field a full team. And there were many races that we simply didn't participate in because we didn't have a full team. Mr. Tolles had asked last year, well, what do you do if you have small numbers? And I suggested, it's really difficult because swim is a numbers game. You need to have A relays, B relays, A swimmers, B swimmers, C relays, C swimmers. You need to gain points. The example that I might use is like in wrestling. You could have 4 studs, 4 state champions that can win everything. Your team will not win. The situation that we had in a number of meets that we went to was the guys wouldn't get off the bus. We'd already lost. We'd already lost. That's the situation that we had. I think we had done some things. We had had some guys that were willing to both wrestle and to swim that had participated. But that's a really difficult thing, and it's certainly a difficult thing to ask kids because, both of those sports are super hard to do one, let alone do both. One thing that happened was in the discussion about dissolving the cooperative was that we would be a Division III school like the other schools in our current conference, the SCC conference. And because we co-op with Delton Kellogg, we are a Division II school, and so state qualifying times are very difficult. Division I and Division II state qualifying times are very close to each other. Division III qualifying times are much easier. So when we go to the conference meet, the SEC conference meet, they post on the board what the Division III conference time is. Quite frankly, it's super difficult when our kids are quite a ways away from a conference or a state meet qualifying time in Division II, but if they were swimming for a Division III qualifying time, they'd be really close. On some levels, this seemed to be a financial decision. Again, the discussion that I'd heard was Luke Haywood starts this thing by saying, what's the reason? What's the benefits? It seems like this wasn't a great financial decision because we lost cost sharing for our coaches. We lost a portion of the busing that TK had paid for. We lost conference meets. In the past, for as long as I can remember, we've hosted conference meets here, and we also hosted bigger meets for other things. Because we had a much smaller team this year, there was a meet that we didn't have, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it was weather related or if it was just that we didn't have enough athletes to really field a full team. But we lost a bunch of meets, events that we would have been able to, and I don't know all the details, but theoretically we would have been able to keep some of the gate for that. The bright spot was we have a great young boys coach. Mr. Moray is an excellent coach. He was able to coach with Coach Skipper this year. Super bright spot because he's a Hastings guy. He was a diver, not so much a swimmer, but he's learning. He made some rookie mistakes, but was a tremendous and impactful coach for the kids. So that's great. I think the girls team had a nice group in terms of numbers of kids. Lots of probably athletes that were just willing to try out. And we've developed a middle school program, which a lot of the schools are doing now. Difficult to say how middle schools translate to the to varsity, as a high school sport, but it's great that we're doing it. I just continue to say that I'm not sure that this was a great decision for the kids. And many of you on the board know that I'll no longer have a dog in the fight in terms of swimmers and that sort of thing. But I can tell you that having these teams combined, having the schools combined, has always been a positive thing for the kids. It's never been a negative for the kids. And so when we talk about having this not be something in right today, and not having it in the future, the kids are the ones that are going to suffer. And the kids took a big step back last year. I'm not sure what it looks like in the future. I continue to say that we need to look at mending fences. Thank you.
And fourth, we have Jessica Gasco, please.
Hi, I'm Jessica Gasco. I reside at 128 Sherbrooke Court, and I am here to kind of represent the girls swim team and kind of our struggles in successes throughout the swim season this year. I know the boys team kind of struggled with their friendships that they had built and they had lost due to the dissolving of the co-op. But on the contrary, I have also seen a lot of growth in a lot of our younger swimmers. Prior to this, we have been very focused on winning and not really building up the strength of our weakest swimmers. And that is why myself and Andrea, who is sitting behind me, we kind of took up the mantle of the middle school team. We very much enjoyed that. We saw swimmers who, when they first joined the team, they couldn't even make it a whole length. By the end of the season, they were competing with kids who have been swimming since they were 5 years old. And that's why, in my opinion, what's done is done. And we would like to go forward with the thought of growing the team as it is, focusing on our younger swimmers, getting them into the team, and building up our Hastings representation. Again, I was on the team when I was in high school. Both myself and Andrea were on the team. We can kind of attest to how the swim team, again, I'm mostly speaking for the girls team here. I don't know the dynamics of the boys team. We kind of saw the relationships that were built on the girls team when we were in and how that kind of dissolved after we had left. And now we're kind of seeing it be built up again with this younger group, these freshmen, these sophomores that have come in. We are there in the middle school. We're talking with the kids. I myself am in the classrooms as a sub, teaching and talking to the kids, getting them interested. So, like I said, I don't mind that the team was dissolved. I think we had gotten too focused on winning our conference champions and not necessarily building the teams and the friendships that there had been when I was in school. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for public comment. That concludes the sign up for the first public comment. Again, there is a sign up sheet for our last public comment. If you did not get an opportunity to speak, feel free to sign up for that. We're going to continue on with our meeting here. Comments from board trustees or Mr. Berlin?
I guess I will start out a little bit. It's getting towards that time of the year where it is the end of the year, and with that goes good and bad, but mostly good this week especially. We have senior awards night Wednesday night right here, and then graduation on Thursday night on Baumfield. Those are two of the best nights of the year as far as I'm concerned, and very much looking forward to those.
Make a brief comment. Hats off to Mr. Kruger that had to deal with a bus accident recently. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Everything worked smoothly thanks to the responding paramedics and fire officials and police. We appreciate your assistance with that, and thanks to the families and the parents for the patience that it takes to get done and get through that ordeal. Let's move on to our educational presentation. Mrs. Stevens.
So if you noticed on Friday in the draft agenda, I was not on there, but then I was pulling up our NWA data, and like I said to Ellen, okay, I've got to be on the agenda because our data is amazing. So we have put a lot of hard work into our elementary reading curriculum, as a lot of work into grants, getting Tier 1 instruction, revamping some of the way we're teaching elementary reading, following the science of reading. And when I looked at that data on Friday, it has really come a long way. So when we talk about growth data, we have, it's a tiered level. And our goal is to obviously move everybody up a tier, but really our strong goal is to move our kids that are struggling a little bit at the bottom and move them up. And at Central, for both math and reading, they increased moving those kids up 26% and 15%, which if you correlate that into students, that's like 57 students, 56 students that are going from the red up to the green level. At Northeastern, it was 22% for math and 19% for reading. At Southeastern, it was 27% for math and 21% for reading, and at Star School, 24% and 12%. And so when I looked at that data, our hard work is really paying off, and we're structuring our Tier 1 instruction very differently. We're individualizing that more to the students' needs. We've worked very hard this year on doing that, and like I said, when I saw this data on Friday, you know, our hard work is paying off, and so I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you all because this is truly impressive for our teachers and our students. So, any questions? Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thanks Beth for that update, and thank you to the staff and the students for all your efforts. The financial presentation by Mr. Berlin, please.
Yes, sir. I'd like to walk you through some of the financial statements that you get to see each month, but we don't always talk about very much. So there's just a few things that, again, on our three-legged stool that we'd like to talk about a little bit tonight. First is page 28, which is our general fund revenue and expenses. So this is through year-to-date through April 30th. So that's 10 months out of our year. And as you can see, still, with our budget, we project to have revenues over expenses by the end of the year, but still currently in 10 months, we have 23.6 million in revenue and 25.8 in expenses. So we're still playing catch up from the beginning of the year when we don't get that initial state aid payment until October. We continue to get revenue in July and August, but it's still playing catch up. So this points to the two things that we really need to help with that, and the one being a strong fund balance, and even with that, we still need that state aid note. But obviously, the larger your fund balance, the less your state aid note, and the less interest expense you have to then pay. So again, having that strong fund balance help us as we play catch up all year. So that's our first. The next one I'd like to look at is our debt service, which is on page 30 and 31. So we pay our debt service payments twice a year. They're due on November 1st and May 1st. So that means we usually pay them in April for the May 1st. So on 31, you're seeing the payments we've made this last April. So we have the 4 different issues there. First, the 2000 building and site, which will be paid off in November of 26. So there's only a couple more years on that one. And then you'll also see the 2016 refunding bond, which will be paid off in May of 26. So that's even less time before that is paid off. And then our new one, which is the 2023, we schedule that to be a shorter term, so it will be paid off in May of 34, which is still a little while, obviously, but it's just out there, so it's not really that long from when we got it. It's like 11-year payoff. And then lastly is our big one, which is our 2016 building and site, and that will be paid off in May of 40. But we did so much with that one. That was much larger. That's where we got this beautiful building we're sitting in tonight and the beautiful middle school we have now. So those are our 4 issues that we are gradually paying down. A couple of them will be gone in 26, which will allow us to eventually lower down that debt tax rate. So I think we are doing well with that leg of the stool. We just got to keep working our way on it. And lastly, page 32 is our sinking fund, which shows you right now where we at. We have a balance of $629,377. We've got about $33,000 more we will collect in taxes yet before this year is out to add to that. We're looking at some projects for this summer, which includes the demolition of the annex, the ramps and stairs at Southeastern, and the stairs at the high school leading up to the athletic entrance. All of those will cost a little over $250,000. So with those again, those may not all happen in this school year because our school year ends June 30th, and those projects will probably not be completed until later on in the summer. But with all of the additions and subtractions, we should have about $410,000 going into the following school year, with one more to be levied for next winter, and then it would go away if it's not renewed. So we're looking to come back to you with a renewal either at our June or July board meeting. So if you feel fit to go forward, that will go back on the ballot in November. And that's all we have for the financial update tonight.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Berlin? All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
We will continue on with our consent agenda items, please.
It's a recommendation that the Board of Education collectively approve all of the individual recommendations, meeting minutes, and reports listed in the consent agenda for the May 20th, 24 by approving it with a roll call vote.
Is there a motion on the consent agenda items?
So moved. Support.
It's been properly moved and supported to approve consent agenda items 8A through 8F with a roll call vote, please.
Waringa?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Tolles?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Slaughter?
Aye.
Haywood?
Aye. Motion's adopted. All right, let's see, we are on to our action items. First is the BISD General Fund Budget Resolution.
Yes, and we have Mr. Franklin from the Barry ISD, the Barry ISD Superintendent, to talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, Mr. Franklin, please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Just kidding.
I misjudged where to sit. Sorry about that. I thought, I've got to get up there. So thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. Some of you over the years have heard these presentations, and we don't always do it this way. Some years we have just met together in Finance Committee and then let the superintendent and Mr. Berlin present. Some years it works better this way. It's whatever works for you. So I'm happy to be here. For those of you who need to be bored about something, I'll take just a minute to explain that there's a state statute that requires intermediate school districts, RESAs, RESDs, whatever they want to be called, to share their general fund budget projection with all of their constituent school district boards, and then to ask the local boards to approve or disapprove, however they see fit. And presumably, if you disapprove, to share suggestions for changes, because just like your board, we won't actually pass a budget until later in June. At our June board meeting normally, sometimes a little later, but by June 30th, which is at least one day before the state ever passes theirs. But anyway, that's their problem. So we share the general fund budget with you as close as we can get it at this point in the game, and this is what's been shared with our board finance committee and our Board of Education generally, but they haven't approved anything yet. We know that what's really of greater interest is often the special education fund, and so we would like to share that too. We don't have to go through all that detail tonight unless you want to. But what the Board of Education has are pages for the general fund revenues, the general fund expenses, and then the fund balance calculation, and the same for the special fund. So would you like me just to hit the assumptions page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that sounds good to us.
Thanks. I could have been done already, right? This is so some of the assumptions that Amber Holland, our Director of Business Services, and I and the Finance Committee are making We're looking at property tax increases. The dollars coming in will probably go up about 12% into this coming year. The upside of a good real estate market is certainly, increased revenues, even as tax rates have to decrease. Earnings on investments, probably a slight reduction, but as interest rates stay high, that has allowed us to really make some money on some of the funds that the state allows us to hold. Most significantly, the funds that grant funds they give us, like for mental health and things like that. They send that to us in state aid, and while we hold it, it earns. So, categorical funding, the big line item for ISD general funds is Section 81, which is just operating. That's projected for a 2.5% increase this year. 1.5% increase projected in other state amounts. We think federal grants and Medicaid will probably hold steady. After some years where we've had cuts in Medicaid, though, that's good news. And Medicaid's always behind a couple years anyway. So again, general fund assumptions, although a lot of this gets into special fund for us too, because most of our wages, most of our personnel are on the special education side of the house. All of our teachers and professional staff have a 4% increase along with any step increases this year. That's a contract that was negotiated for 3 years and approved last year. Support staff will get the same 4% increase. We look for additional local support on the expenditure side for literacy projects. Our board has actually earmarked. We don't know if we're going to get approved by the state for an additional literacy coach or not. If we did, it would just continue to fund what we have because we've been funding 3 with 2. But our board said, let's put 15 grand into that and just put it towards supplies or professional development or whatever. So we're really excited that next year for a major literacy conference down in New Orleans that everybody in literacy goes to, that there's going to be someone from Hastings and someone from Delton joining our coaches as they go. Anyway, exciting. We're projecting 1.5% increases for any of our business services, technology support, that kind of thing. We're looking to add an education schedule, in other words, a way for people to earn based on professional learning and professional development and additional value-added contributions. Probably adding staff in the areas of occupational therapy and possibly someone doing some of the secretarial work for the West Learning Center. We don't have a person over there in like a reception kind of role, but we have a lot of clerical work that maybe could go to a person in that role. We know that retirement seems to continue to increase. That's a major topic for the legislature right now. I'm on the board of the ISD Superintendents Association, and along with the Superintendents Association and the School Boards Association and every other association in the state, we are lobbying hard for reductions to districts in their expenses for their regular pension rates, based on the fact that we need to be reducing what's going towards what they call OPEB, which is basically health insurance for retirees. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Insurance rates, calculating based on hard cap rates and increasing insurance for our bus drivers and parapros. Local payout on the special ed side is always of great interest to our constituent boards. After some years where it was kind of lean, we've been able to increase it the last couple of years. At this point, we're budgeting it flat, but we know that that could very well increase. And our board has been very directive with us that if we don't make any of the capital type purchases like parking lot we've got down there, or if we decide not to get another new bus, they want to see that flowed through directly to local districts. So what can I answer for you? All right, I've done my job if you're all asleep at this point. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And if you don't mind my saying, so I'll put on one of my other many hats I could wear in this room, but just as a parent of 2 alums and a taxpayer and a voter and a resident, I got to say this at the last meeting where you were hiring a superintendent, but it was very fun for me to see one of the candidates turn the question around to you. I mean, you asked them all, do you have questions for us? And it just gave the board members a chance to really talk about what was important to them in a very thoughtful, heartfelt way. And it was super encouraging. We know that lots of things are on your agenda, lots of things are on your plate, but the most important thing is kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
So again, you have both the general fund budget and the special education budget from the ISD, but we are only here to approve the general fund. So it is the recommendation that the board approve the Berry Intermediate School District general fund budget resolution as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been properly moved and forward to approve the general fund budget for the Berry ISD. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Waringa.
Aye.
Peck.
Aye.
Tolles.
Aye.
Nichols.
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Slaughter.
Aye.
Haywood.
Aye, motion's adopted. Okay, we get to move on to the fun part where we get to receive some donations tonight.
Yes, we do. And it was just early last week that Ellen said, well, we don't have any donations this month. And then all of a sudden, here we go, we've got 3 for you. First one would be from Cody Stamping. Received a check for $4,300 to go towards the new girls' softball uniforms. So it'll be the recommendation that the board approve from Cody Stamping the donation in the amount of $4,300 for our new girls' softball uniforms.
Is there a motion for the donation?
Yeah, I would motion.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported to accept with great appreciation the donation of $4,300 from Cody's Stamping to go towards the girls' softball uniforms. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say that they look nice.
They're wearing them now.
Yes.
wearing them
yeah,
already?
Good deal.
they're wearing them.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
And the roll call, please.
Yeah, Waringa.
Aye.
Peck.
Aye.
Tolles.
Aye.
Nichols.
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Slaughter.
Aye.
Haywood.
Aye, motion's adopted. Okay, on to the Ohm donation.
Yes, donation from Bernard and Susan Ohm in the amount of $1,200 to go towards a new baseball record board. So it's a recommendation that the board accept with great appreciation the donation from Bernard and Susan Ohm in the amount of $1,200 for the new baseball record board.
Is there a motion for the donation?
I move that we accept the
Support.
$1,200 as a great appreciation.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported to accept the Ohm donation of $1,200 for the baseball scoreboard, record board, excuse me. Any discussion? Did I understand we had the unveiling a couple weeks ago? Yep.
Did they, did the Ohms, did they do a lot of the digging for those? So this is the second time, I'll just say that.
Where does the board, where does the record board sit at the field? Press box? Oh, nice.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
Love
All
to
right.
get out there and see it.
Yeah. Thanks for all the hard work on that. And the roll call, please.
On Waringa.
Aye.
Peck.
Aye.
Tolles. Aye. Nichols?
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Swatter? Aye. Haywood?
Aye, motion's adopted. And on to our HEAF donation.
Yes, lastly, for this evening is a donation from HEAF in the amount of $6,860. A lot of it, most of it is travel to various places, to Binder Zoo, to Pierce Cedar Creek, and here and there and everywhere.
The report's almost too small for me to read.
I am with you. But it's a recommendation that the board accept with appreciation funds totaling $6,860 from the Hastings Education Enrichment Foundation to help defray cost of several programs and activities for students.
Is there a motion on the donation?
So move.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported to accept with great appreciation the donations totaling $6,860 from the Hastings Educational Enrichment Foundation for student activities. Any discussion?
Just say a big thank you again to all the donations. I mean, it's very rare that we go a month without any, and it's just things like this that go a long way because, I mean, if we didn't have them, one, the kids wouldn't do it, or two, we'd be finding other ways to fund it, so.
I will quickly say that I do sit on that board as well, and that entire board has done a much better job at getting the message out of what the Hastings Education Enrichment Foundation is and does. Because I know a lot of folks in the community may not know about that, and so they've done a great job, and actually this year did fundraise a lot more than in previous years, so.
And thank you to the staff members that apply for these donations to provide the opportunities for students. So again, we couldn't do that without your application.
It is tremendous help to the district. There's no doubt about it. And all of these donations are. I've never seen a district so generous as far as donations, and it's incredible. So thanks to you all.
And the roll call, please.
Waringa?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Toll?
Aye.
Nichols?
Aye.
Eastman, aye. Swatter? Aye. Haywood?
Aye, motion's adopted. Okay, on to information and discussion items. Neola policy first reading.
Yes. We met with first our Neola rep and then with our policy committee to go over these policies that are listed here. Again, this is just the first reading. They will come back next month for the second reading, and then if all are in favor, they will go into effect. Val is the chair of our policy committee. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add at this time, or?
No, they're mostly revisions. The only new one is one that had to be added due to the prevailing wage, just the law change. So a lot of the revisions were just corrections or law changes that had to be struck from the policy. But like Tim said, we have another reading and we'll go over them again.
All right, thank you for that update. And our resignations, you'll see a few of those as well.
Couple, yes, one general para at Central and then a food service general at the high school. It's Nicole Haight and Catherine Smith.
All right, great. And we're back to public comment. All right, thank you. Christina, please.
Hi, I'm Christina DeShane. I live at 108 West Muriel here in Hastings. I'm actually a food service worker at the middle school for the district. I have 4 kids that have worked through this district. My oldest is an alumni. I have 1 in the middle school and 2 at Northeastern Elementary. On April 29th of this year, my middle school student, along with her friend, went into the office and told the office staff that another student was stalking them and they were scared. The following day, my daughter was attacked by the same student in the same hallway that a lot of fights happen. And this is just 20 feet away from the administration building. She has a concussion. She had a black eye and a possible fractured jaw. Just last week, we learned that her jaw was not fractured. My problem with that was a week after this happened, we had issues with the locks in the building, and the front door to outside, both doors to the office were open. Now, for safety and security reasons, this can't happen at the school. I mean, we have hundreds of students in our district, in their schools at all times, and for me as a mom, it just worries me that my child isn't safe. My child doesn't feel safe at school. And then we couldn't even be told what was going to happen with this other child. And I get it, but I bring this to you guys because I want to see the changes, and I want the safety standards to be there that have been missing. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and Steve Schultz, please.
Okay, so I rambled on a little bit. Steve Schultz, 104 West Calgary. I rambled on a little bit the first time. Just really quick, there is a little bit of a concern from other parents that in the 2023 boys swim season and also in the fall 2022 girls season, there were some records broken. And the record board, people would like to have the record board be updated. There's a little bit of concern because it is one of those things where it's like, so are we changing the records because of the change in the teams, in the dissolution of the co-op or not? And again, that issue kind of continues to come up. I think the concern that parents have is that really at this point, I think all of those athletes will now be graduating, at the end of this week. And at that point, they get kind of scattered to the wind, and hopefully all of these athletes are able to get their names on the board and get recognized in the way that they should. I understand that there might be a situation where it's something where an asterisk can be put on there or something else, but these are kids that swam for swam in this pool for this team, for this school, at that time and set the records. And it'd be great to recognize them. Thank you.
All right, and that's our last public comment of the evening. Board comments or superintendent comments?
Go ahead.
I'd like to announce that the Hayfield concert will be on May 30th, 5:30 in the afternoon on Charlton Park Road at our farm, if the weather is not like it is right now. And if it is like it is right now, it'll be here in this auditorium with a silent auction taking place in the cafeteria. And for those of you that like ice cream, Moveville is going to bring ice cream.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to graduation day.
73.
Hopefully the weather
Looks to be 73 and clear.
the weather cooperates, and Josie kindly reminded me of her graduation when it was 45 degrees.
Freezing.
Freezing.
Yes.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing. Congrats to our graduates, and thank you again to all of the retirees and over 300 years of service, which is just amazing. We've seen a lot of years where we've had 100, 200 years of service, but this is by far the biggest year that I've seen anyways since I've been here. And congrats to our spring athletes. I know our track just had a fabulous turnout at the regionals with a lot of kids that qualified, so I just want to give a congratulations to them.
Just a quick comment. I called the board members and updated them, but for the public, our contract is finalized with our next superintendent. We're excited to have him here on July 1st, and so we look forward to working with him once Tim retires. So,
And I am very excited for him to be here. A lot of things going on, good things going on though, and looking forward to graduation as well.
great. All right, let's go on to announcements. Special meeting of the board will be at 6:45 on June 24th for a budget hearing. And then the regular board meeting will follow at 7 p.m. on June 24th. And that will be at the middle school, 232 West Grand Street. And seeing no other announcements, the meeting's now adjourned. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.